earlier video, we have seen what a subsidiary book means. Well, the subsidiary books are of four types. We have seen it also. The cash book, the subsidiary book for goods, subsidiary book for bills, and the journal proper. Well, the subsidiary book for goods only records the transactions related to goods. Now, in this video, let's see the subsidiary book for goods, that too purchase book. Well, first of all, let's know what goods mean. Goods are those commodities on which a trader or a businessman trades or does the business on. That is, if I am a cloth merchant, then cloth, a bundle of cloth or a bunch of cloth is goods for me. If I am a furniture merchant, then various kinds of furnitures are goods for me. Not only grains or mobiles or whatever. The commodity on which a businessman does his trade or his business is known as goods. And in the goods subsidiary books, only the credit transactions related to goods are considered. Let's see the purchase book first. The purchase book, the subsidiary book in which only the credit purchase of goods are recorded is known as purchase book. Note down, only the credit purchase. Cash purchases are not to be recorded in purchase book. Well, if the purchase is done on partial cash and partial credit basis, then the whole transaction has to be considered as a credit transaction and not as cash transaction. Neither has there to be any bifurcation. Here the partial transaction means if a person buys 10,000 worth of goods and pays 50% of the amount, then only the 5,000 amount which is on credit basis is to be recorded. No, that is not the system for purchase book. Well, the whole amount of 10,000 has to be recorded as credit purchase in the purchase book. One more thing is that when we record the purchases, the credit purchases, we record the net amount of purchase. Net amount means the value of the goods, means the market value of the goods minus the trade discount. And it is known to all that trade discount is not recorded in any of the books. So, the trade discount has to be deducted from the amount, and then the net amount remaining has to be recorded in the purchase books. Now, let's see the types of preparation of purchase book. Well, there are two main types of purchase book. One is the simple purchase book and the other one is the columnar purchase book. Well, in the simple purchase book, only the amount column and the particular column is written. And in the columnar purchase book, there are various columns prepared on the basis of the types of goods on which the businessman does his business. For instance, if I am a merchant of mobiles, well, if I am having a shop of mobiles, then in my purchase book, I will be writing columns for various types of mobiles, that is the brands of mobiles, for a column for Samsung, a column for Oppo, a column for Vivo. In the similar way, if a columnar purchase book is made on the basis of expenses and the goods, then it is the goods and expenses columnar purchase book. Here the expenses means the expenses paid for the purchase, like the octroi, the freight, the railway freight, or the taxes, GST and all. These are recorded in different columns in the cash book, where the goods as well as the expenses are recorded, as known as the goods and expenses columnar purchase book. So let's see a specimen of these kinds of purchase books. Now here is a specimen of simple purchase book. First of all, we need to write purchase book of Shri whatever. If it's Mr. Raman Lal, then Raman Lal, whatever the name of the person is, it has to be, means the trader, it has to be written over here. Then first in the first column we have to note the date. The second one, the name of the supplier. As it is the purchase book, here it is the name of the supplier. We are purchasing from someone else. So that person is our supplier. Then is the inward invoice number. We are purchasing goods, which means goods are coming into our business. So coming into our business, then it is coming inside. So it is inward. So inward invoice number. Then the ledger folio number. We know that the page number on ledger. Then is the amount. Let's see an example. For instance, goods of rupees 15,000 is purchased from Mr. X at 10% trade discount and invoice number is 12. Then here whatever the date is, the date will come. Suppose it is 2020 January 1st. Okay, here Mr. X, okay, Mr. X's account will come. Then the inward invoice number is 12. So here the amount, the number 12 will come, and the amount is 15,000 is purchased, but at the trade discount has to be reduced. So from 15,000, when we reduce 10%, it is 13,500. Okay. Then after passing all the entries, we have to do the total over here. Fine. Next is the columnar purchase book as per the type of goods. Here again the purchase book of Shri, whatever it is. Then date, name of supplier, everything will be same. See, inward invoice number, then ledger folio number, everything is same. Only this column of amount is bifurcated as per the goods. Here the merchant is of some electronics shop. So he is selling, he's doing business of TV, then flour mill, ACs, refrigerators and all. So in his purchase book, we find columns for TV, flour mill and ACs. So here the amount column is bifurcated in these three columns, and then the total of all these, all the three commodities amount is written over here. Okay, so this is the total amount of all the three commodities. So let's see it with an example. For instance, on January 5th, 2020, purchased from Sri Krisha Mart 10 pieces of TV at rate of 1200 per piece, then 12 ACs for 2500 per piece at 10% trade discount. Then the invoice, and the invoice number is 126, which is received by us, and half of the amount is paid immediately in cash. Here, though half of it is paid in cash, we have to consider the whole transaction to be credit, and we'll write it over here in the purchase book of Shri. First of all, in the date column, we'll write the date 2020 January 5th, Sri Krisha Mart. Invoice number 126, LIFO number is not there. TV, 10 TVs for 1200, means total 12,000 rupees, but we have to reduce the trade discount of 10%. So after reducing 1,200 from 12,000, we get 10,800 of the TV, total amount of TVs. Then there is no flour mill purchase, there is AC. 12 pieces are purchased for 2,500 each. So 12 pieces into 2,500 means 30,000 minus 10% trade discount, which means 27,000 of 27 rupees worth AC is purchased. And here in last, the total amount has to be written, that is 10,800 plus 27,000, that comes to 37,800. In this way, after recording all the transactions, we have to do the total. Here the total of TV, flour mill, AC and the total combined. These three total and this total should be matching with each other at the end. If not, then there is a problem somewhere. either you have made a mistake in calculation, or maybe there is a total amount will come, right? Because this way it will be right and this way you need to tally. Fine. Next is the columnar purchase book as per goods and expenses. Here also the purchase book of Shri is given. Then in the first column we see the date over here, then the name of the supplier, then comes the invoice number, the ledger folio number. Everything is same here also, but the amount column is very big because we have the expenses over here. Here the net amount of goods is to be considered first. First of all, it is to be written. Then the railway freight, then the wages, whatever the expenses are given in the sum, they have to be mentioned here. Then if the GST is given, the percentage of GST is given, then both the intrastate supply and the interstate supply should be bifurcated with input CGST and input SGST for intrastate supply and IGST for interstate supply. And finally, there will be the total amount. After doing the amounts calculation of bifurcated one, we have to get the total also. Now let's see it with an example. Suppose on February, leave it, on January 25th. Okay, on January 25th, goods purchased of rupees 10,000 at 10% trade discount from Mr. V of Rajkot. We are in Gujarat itself. Okay, we are in Ahmedabad. Suppose we are writing in the books of Mr. B from Ahmedabad and Mr. V is from Rajkot. Okay, so on 25th Jan, goods purchased of rupees 10,000 at 10% trade discount from Mr. V of Rajkot, rupees 500 for labor and rupees 400 for railway freight are disclosed in his bill 239. So here let's write it over here. 2020 January 25th. It is Mr. V's account, right? Mr. V's account. He is from Gujarat only. So we'll have to see CGST and SGST. Invoice number is 239. LIFO number is not there. Now the total net value. 10,000 worth of goods are purchased at 10% trade discount, means 9,000. After reducing 1,000 from 10,000, we get 9,000 total. Then the railway freight of rupees 400 is paid. So 400. Wages of 500 is also paid for the labor cost. The wages or the labor cost is paid. So 9,400 and 500. Now we need to calculate CGST and SGST. We know that for the interstate it is IGST, which is 12%, and for intrastate, that is inside the state, it is 6% CGST and 6% SGST. So we need to calculate this input CGST and input SGST 6% each on the total of 9,000 plus 400 plus 500. That is 9,900 rupees is the value on which we need to calculate CGST and SGST. It is not because over here on after writing these many amounts of railway freight and wages, we need to calculate these three because this becomes the net value. Okay, the total amount of the goods purchased becomes 9,900 and on that we have to calculate the GST. So the 6% of 9,900 will be 594 rupees. So CGST will be 594 and SGST will also be 594. Then in the IGST column there will be nothing and the total amount of 11,088 has to be noted down as the total. Okay, now here 9,000 400 and 500 have to be shown in a separate column, okay, while we do it, so that there is no confusion for you people, okay. So after recording all the credit purchases with their expenses, finally we need to do the totals column. So this was the specimen of columnar purchase book as per the goods and expenses. So so friends, if you have liked my video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.